for the second week of November, meaning November 10th to November 14th here. And yeah, I mean, let's start where we got to start with the news economic calendar. And yeah, looking at this instantly, it looks pretty red, right? Monday we have nothing. Tuesday we have a dollar and a euro bank holiday, but a pound red folder. But Tuesday is like fucking avoid is crazy. Wednesday we have no news. Thursday we have a London kill zone pound folder and 4 tentative US folders. And then Friday we also have 4 tentative US folders. Now, what is going to happen with these tentative folders? They are not going to release unless the government reopens, right, from the shutdown. So with what I'm thinking, which is nothing is going to really happen news-wise, and the government is going to stay shut down, we're going to have zero news. Now, if we do, then we'll have CPI and we'll have like a news-heavy later portion of the week, but most likely we can go into the week expecting no news at all and a bank holiday on Tuesday, right? All right, so shit news calendar, and let's move on. Fucking Trumpy Bumpy can finally maybe open that shit and not be a dickhead about it, bro, and then we can kind of get back to shit. Anyway, dollar. What are we looking at? We're looking at a monthly buy-side pool being purged last week with a initial reaction off of it. My outlook for dollar and the same is for majors essentially, but really it's only for pound because for euro this doesn't quite apply because euro did not end up forming a weekly gap. My outlook is quite simple. I am expecting almost a reversal from here, so a continuation lower or a reversal lower, not a continuation, right? Like I guess a continuation of like this overarching like news event. Not news event, bro. Fucking price trend. Holy fuck, what am I talking about? Anyway, dollar. So yeah, I have the expectation of bearishness. Now I do have this bullish weekly gap here. So what is my expectation? Expectation 1, we are bearish and we're going to disregard this weekly gap and trade lower. Thumbs up, right? Expectation 2, we're going to be bullish, which means we're going to respect this weekly gap instantly and we're going to be very sensitive here and run higher. So essentially what I'm saying is I'd want to see us respect the weekly gap, or if we don't respect the weekly gap, I'm bearish. So that's essentially what I'm saying. We have this daily bearish gap here that I will be keeping an eye on as well. Now, what are 2 scenarios that we could see? We could see price reach into the daily bearish gap and then reach lower into the weekly gap and then see where we go from the weekly gap, which would be A1 fucking the best scenario, right? I'd look for shorts from the weekly gap, or in this case then longs on majors from their bullish daily gaps. I meant the daily gap here, not the weekly gap, right? Look for longs on majors from their daily bullish gaps and then switch it around. I'm actually just going to switch to majors to make this maybe a little like less abstract, I guess. Let's look at euro first, right? So euro, we've been bearish, but reluctantly so. And then last week we kind of put in like a potential reversal here, right? We have like a long wick to the downside and then some bullish movement. Now, what do we also have? We have monthly SMT. Now, just to make this a little nicer, I'm going to drag the monthly SMT to this low, but keep in mind, like we have monthly SMT all the way to here with pound. So pound hit the monthly internal gap, right? Pound, we have this monthly bullish for value gap. We were looking for price to draw into it. We have finally done that. All right, now from here, this is essentially the main point of why I would expect for majors and dollar to maybe have a turnaround here is this monthly gap on pound. Now we hit the monthly gap and we have an initial bullish daily reaction out of here, inversing this bearish daily gap. So the plan on pound, because really euro, fuck euro, right? It doesn't have a weekly gap. It has a daily gap, so not fuck euro completely. Anyway, the plan is this. Either we run into the weekly gap first, and then we're looking for shorts from the weekly gap, or we run into this daily gap first, then we're looking for longs from the daily gap into the weekly gap. So both overall make sense. Now, bearish scenario, we want to see this weekly gap hold, and we want to go from the weekly gap to the external and keep trading lower, right? Now, if we don't see the weekly gap hold, I'm bullish all the way up until these highs, right? Like, simply put, if the weekly gap doesn't hold, I think we continue like a macro bullish trend, and we're out of here, bro. Like, we're in this unfilled fair value gap up here on the weekly chart. So just throwing that out there. Anyway, that's kind of the outlook for there. The outlook for indices is even more simple. Last week we had a pretty brutal sell-off up until Friday. We did end up closing inside the weekly gap on NQ. We didn't on ES, so our focus is on NQ. Other focus, looking at YM, SMT with NQ and ES, right? YM did not take Monday, October 20th weekly low, NQ and ES did. So we're in this weekly gap. Now, what are we looking for? For me, personally, all I'm looking for next week is we close above this and we go higher. That's what I want to see. If we start fucking around here, I don't like it, right? I don't like it as much. At that point, I'm probably looking for a further move down. If we are to actually put this in as like a intermediate, short-term low, whatever, and run back to all-time highs, I want to see Monday close above and then just off to the races, right? Maybe Tuesday just consolidate like here-ish, and then Wednesday, because Tuesday is the bank holiday, and then we push into the all-time highs throughout the rest of the week. If that doesn't happen, and we start fucking around here and not closing above and maybe putting in lower lows, at that point, bro, I would more have the expectation of potential rebalance to some sell side, right? Like these lows down here, potentially. Because honestly, a little bit of a fatter retrace would serve us well on NQ, I think. Like, we're due. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if we can get that, that'd be juicy. But overall, I guess first watch on NQ is this 4 hour off the weekly gap, and then from there, if that doesn't end up panning out, I'm expecting some bearish stuff to happen. Now on gold, simply put, I'm kind of neutral right now. Obviously I'm in a long still, weekly to 4 hour alignment, right? That I've been in last week. Was just pure consolidation, so sitting in that trade the whole week. Yeah, I mean, if we go higher, fucking hallelujah to me. If we don't, then fucking fuck me, I guess. But yeah, overall, we've just been consolidating, right, on the daily chart. So my bias is wait for either of these weekly, like of the previous weekly candles, so not this last week, but the week before that, since this last week was inside week to that, wait for either the higher low to be taken and then fucking take a closer look afterwards. It's that simple. If they get displaced through higher or lower, I expect that. If we just wick them and then run back to the range, I'd expect it as a sell side sweep, and then we attack the opposite end of that range. Yeah, that's essentially the outlook. I don't want to yap too much, but that's